I think that the nervous system is about to have a huge moment. You know how there's kale, there was like cold plunge sauning, like there's all different kinds of like waves. I think the nervous system is about to hit.
I would rank the nervous system a little higher than kale, though. You know what I mean? Like I would put that one
Kale
up.
had a moment, though. The PR for kale was really good.
It had a good PR moment, but I would say that like the nervous system is a much more important wave.
How did you become interested in the nervous system to begin with?
Okay. So I feel like my story goes back to, honestly, university. And I come from a town with 300 people. There's a stop sign, okay? And I was really lucky growing up. Both of my parents were chefs. And my mom was really into health and wellness. So growing up, I was so spoiled that when I got to university, I didn't even know how to cook an egg. So I got to university and everyone's like, freshman 15. And I was like, oh, that's not going to happen to me. You know, I was just so fortunate to be given all this healthy food that I didn't even know what fat was, what sugar was. Anyway, so then I hit the cafeteria and I'm not even thinking. And I'm drinking every weekend, eating whatever I want. And I come home and I'm like, I don't think I did freshman 15. I think I did like freshman like 30. it hit me hard. Okay. And so for the first time in my life, I started working on, okay, I want to actually feel better. And so I started learning about health, about wellness, and really trying to understand how to feel good. And so I think my first intro to the nervous system and feeling good was through trying to feel better in my body. And that's actually how I found your podcast. So this is like back in 2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Long-time listener.
Ooh.
And I was like, and I had never heard of personal development. I'd never heard of this world. And right when I learned about it, I felt so at home. Like I loved it. I became obsessed. And that's how I found out about Tim Ferriss, Joe Dispenza, all these people that were talking about all these magical things. And I grew up thinking like, okay, if you could make $100,000, like you've made it. Like I would be like a millionaire. Like that is like my dream. And so when I started learning about all these people, I was like, whoa, there's this whole other world out there that I didn't even know existed. And like, I'm so thankful for podcasts because it expanded me. And it expanded, you know, what I knew was even available and possible. And I'm that type of person that I'm like, okay, I read the 4-Hour Workweek and I basically made that my Bible. And I was like, okay, I want to work 4 hours a week. I want to escape winter. I want to work from my laptop and I want to work from anywhere in the world. That was my biggest dream. If I could just do that, I will have made it. And I started working on the side. I started designing websites and logos for businesses in my small town. I saw it as like a little niche. And so I started doing that. And I wouldn't say it was like doing well. Like I was making like money to like drink on the weekends. You know, I really wasn't taking it seriously. But that first year I booked a trip to Australia. And during winter.
Why Australia? Like why can't, like what was the reasoning?
I don't know. I just was like, I feel like I was a palm tree in a past life. Like I'm a plant. Like I'm so happy near the ocean. I'm so happy in sunshine. So like,
can you tell me where your town was near in Canada? Like where?
Yeah. Okay. So it's like 3 hours north of Toronto.
Okay.
It's a small town called Clarksburg, Ontario. Google it. Google it.
And what is like the main, the product or good or service that comes out of this? Like, what is the town known for?
Apples.
Apples.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And if your parents, I'm assuming if they were chefs, did they have restaurants in the town or what did they do?
So my dad had a restaurant growing up. And then he started working in the gold mine. So he would fly down to Guyana. And yeah, my dad was wild. He also worked in LA. He worked for Alice Cooper. Like he was...
Alice Cooper, like the heavy metal singer Alice Cooper?
Yeah, he was his driver.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
he is cool to me.
Yeah.
What do you say he was like?
I want to play Alice Cooper. I'm 18. That's such a fucking good song. Anyways.
He was wild. I actually have Alice Cooper's jacket.
We should have brought the... Okay, we should have led with that.
We should have worn the jacket.
No,
do you know who we're talking about here?
It's tiny.
Like, I do know who you're talking about, but...
Wait, school's out for summer? Is it that?
Of course.
Yeah,
but he's got a song called I'm 18. Everyone go play it on Spotify right now. I love that song. Like, made me just want to kick through a door when I was a kid.
Okay, so you moved to Australia.
Yeah, so I moved to Australia. And while I was in Australia, I was like, I'm a millionaire. Because I was working on my business and I was just making enough to break even while I was traveling. And I was like living in hostels, so I wasn't living large. But I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, I made it. And, you know, that was just everything to me. And while I was there, I got a call. and it was from my college, and they were like, we really want you to come run our entrepreneurship center. And this is in January, so it's in the middle of winter. And I just started learning about personal development. So I think I was meditating for like 3 minutes a day, like nothing major. And I had a gratitude journal. That was about it. And I just had this like gut feeling that I was meant to go back. And everyone around me was like, don't go back. Like, it's the middle of winter. You're going to be so unhappy. You did this to escape winter. Like, just stay in Australia. And I was like, I don't know. I just need to go back. So I took the job, flew back. And then 2 weeks after flying home, I got a call from my mom, and my dad had committed suicide.
Oh.
And
sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And for me, this was the impossible, because he was and still is like my best friend, the strongest, like hardest working, most loved man that I ever knew. Like, when he walked into a room, it was like, oh my God, Andrew's here. Like, he just lit up a room. He was the life of every party. He was so loved. And he didn't see that in himself. And I learned that now in hindsight. And in that moment, I actually felt relief for him. I knew he was in a lot of pain. While I was in Australia, my mom he called me to say that they were separating. And I was like, thank God. Like, I have been waiting for this my whole life. Like,
why?
Because I grew up in a family where my mom and dad, I could sense from a very young age that they weren't happy with each other.
It sounds like your nervous system was out of whack when you were young too, because to sense that is hard on the nervous system. And it sounds like your dad's nervous system was out of whack, obviously.
Yeah.
Because of what happened to him. So that's interesting. There's like a thread.
Yeah. And I'm going to thread this into a whole yarn in a moment. And so like that, because as you grow up as a child, that's when you create your nervous system. And because growing up, my nervous system was surrounded by chaos, that became a blueprint for me. And I would just attract chaos everywhere I went, because that was just my normal. And I didn't know what was happening.
So like when you say you would attract chaos, give me a few examples of like what would happen.
Like blacking out every weekend. I would do this thing where I'd always make myself late for everything. I would always leave everything until the last minute. I would always just get myself in these situations where I would just cause, like, for example, always making myself late, always making myself have pressure when there didn't need to be, and like not choose peace, if that made sense. Like, if there was an avenue that was peace, I'd be like, okay, and I want to go this way, even though it was like the less desired option, but that was just like what was normal to me. I'd track friendships, relationships that would be that chaotic energy, because that was my safety zone. That was normal to me.
It's very self-aware.
Yeah. So
not a lot of people that exhibit those behaviors have the awareness to realize like that's how they're behaving. And I think for people around them, sometimes it could be very confusing, because they're sitting there being like, why are you doing this self-destruct?
Are you talking about me?
No,
I feel like you are. This is like a manipulative tactic. I don't believe you. He's all like peripheral.
Hold on. I didn't even look at you.
I know, but that's there's an energy.
If it feels right.
I'm too in tune.
I'm
Sorry.
I'm not saying it's too in tune. I
really ask the question.
I
Go
really
ahead.
wasn't talking about you, but if the shoe fits, and I'm not even
Were
saying
you really not talking about me?
I swear to God, I wasn't talking about you, but that's another thing for you
Okay.
to examine.
Okay.
I will say you are late a lot.
Oh, okay, so yes.
But I think a lot of people struggle. I mean, there's things I think about a lot, and one of the big things I think about is self-awareness.
Mm.
And I think I'm not the only one, but I think it is like one of the big things that directly impact the outcome of your life is how self-aware you are. And unfortunately, a lot of people are very unself-aware. Like, they don't realize that what is in their wake after the decisions they make. They don't realize how they're being perceived by family and friends.
What's something that you're self-aware about, yourself?
Like, I can come off, I know for sure, like, that if you get introduced to me and I saying the wrong line, like, I know a lot of people think I'm probably an arrogant asshole, and I'm aware of that. I'm aware of like the way I can come off. And so I tailor it in a different way in my personal life and others, but I'm like aware of that perception. I'm aware that, I'm aware that my blunt delivery sometimes can make people uncomfortable. I think the worst thing is like you go through life and you're not aware of those things, and you're confused by why people react to you the way they do. Does that make sense? Or you're confused about why you're having the outcomes you're having. And I think I mean it as a compliment. Like when you are that self-aware, you're able to either live and kind of like manage that, or you're able to kind of use it to tailor the outcome that you want. But when you're not self-aware, as I believe most people are not, or many people are not, then you go through life really struggling because you're like, why does this keep happening? Like, what's going on? Why am I in the bad relationship? Why do I have bad friends? Why do I not get the job I want? Why does this, like, why am I always so upset? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's because they're not being self-aware of like what's actually going on around them.
So through the self-awareness of you realizing that you're choosing chaos over peace, what happens?
And I want to come back to that because that's a really good point. And so, okay, so going back, so in that moment when my mom called me, I hung up the phone and I called my best friend. And this was a best friend that I met in Australia. And I met two of the same people in the same way. I said, I love your tattoo. And I don't often compliment tattoos, but they had really beautiful tattoos. And they both said, oh, thank you. This is because I lost one was her boyfriend and one was her brother. And in that moment, I was like, wow, I've never met anyone so positive, so happy, and has been through a trauma like that. And I just had this knowing that I was like, I'm going to lose someone. And that's an example to me that I'm going to be okay. And so when my mom called me, I was like, okay, gotta go. I called my friend and she was like, Marley, I just don't want this to make you lose your sparkle. And as cheesy as that sentence was, it was exactly what I needed in that moment because I needed something to be my Northern Star. And I was like, I'm not going to let this break me because for the first time I was experiencing so much like happiness, which was living in Australia, running this business for actually like the first time in my life, like feeling so happy. And I was like, okay, I am not going to make this break me. I have no idea how to go through this. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just going to make this make me. And it was at my dad's celebration of life, like 4 months later, that I spoke. And I said, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to figuring out a way and a tool so that no one does what my dad did and think that that's the only option and has to struggle so much to get there. And again, like I had done like a 3-minute meditation at this point and maybe done like a few gratitude journals. Like I had not healed or done any like deeper healing. And for the first time I went to therapy because it was subsidized from the government. Like we grew up, you know, I would say poor, like struggling. And from a very young age, like I just thought, okay, if I can have money, then everything will be okay. Because as a young child, I was always like observing, like, okay, what was causing the chaos? What was causing the problems? And it always felt like because there wasn't enough money, it caused tension. So from a very young age, I was like, I just want to make as much money as possible because then I'll be happy and then I'll feel love. Like I just remember thinking as a young child, like that was like the solution to the problem that is existing in the home. And so on that journey, I began becoming obsessed. Like I'm a Capricorn and once I get into something, I get in. So I was reading all the books, listening to all the podcasts like Joe Dispenza, you know, Tony Robbins, all of these people trying to figure out, okay, how do people actually feel good? Like how can people love themselves enough and actually have permanent change in their life and feel good? And I became my own guinea pig because I, again, didn't know how to deal with grief. There's no handbook. You have no idea what's going on. Like I was literally going to work and my shoes had like massive holes in them and I didn't even notice.
Out of all those books and all those things that you read and studied, who do you remember being the most impactful or helpful? Because I'm sure a lot of people want to know. I mean, you mentioned Joe and Tony.
Well, can I be honest? None of them. Okay, that's not true, but in the sense of everyone kept saying the same thing to me. They kept saying, if you want to change your life, you have to change your beliefs. And I understood that because I started studying the subconscious mind and we can go into that of how that works. And I understood, okay, if you change your beliefs, you'll change your reality. Because I was like, how can someone grow up and not have money and then have all this money? Like, what did they do? How did they get there? And I was trying to like reverse engineer success. And everyone just kept saying, you just have to change your beliefs. You just have to change your beliefs. But no one told me how. And I was like, okay. And the options were like hypnotherapy, journaling, And I was like, I don't really like those options because nothing in life is guaranteed, but there wasn't like a result. There wasn't like, okay, this is going to get this. It's like, just do this for the next 40 days and see what happens. And I didn't like that. I was like, I want results. So over time, and to bring it back to the nervous system, like that's why I created my method. It is the most effective way to reprogram your limiting beliefs into positive ones. And, you know, in my own life, I went I lost 30 pounds. I became a self-made millionaire at 30, growing up
Good
poor.
for you.
I met the love of my life, and I have a healthy, loving, like beautiful relationship, which wasn't modeled to me growing up. Financial wealth wasn't modeled to me. None of this was modeled to me growing up, but I was able to do that through changing my beliefs. And so when it comes to the nervous system, you know, that is your body. So if your body is in chaos, it's signaling to your mind, okay, there's danger, there's threat. And when your body is in danger and threat, it's like a lion running like after a zebra, and the zebra is like, okay, danger, danger. That zebra is not thinking, okay, how am I going to make more money today? What's for dinner? You know, it's not like relaxing and like thinking about its highest next self. It's thinking about survival. And if we get people out of that survival mode and out of that danger and allowing them to feel safe, that's when like the weight drops. That's when you manifest the relationship. That's when you build your dream business. That's when you follow your soul purpose. That's when you empower yourself to be the best version of yourself and create this life beyond your wildest dreams.
So say there's someone listening that has negative beliefs.
Mhm.
What are some tactical tips that you can give to help change those beliefs? Because you mentioned there was nothing that actually told you how.
So if someone listening, I'm sure everyone listening, like I teach this stuff and I embody this stuff every day. I still have limiting beliefs. Like everyone has limiting beliefs. The thing is, okay, so let's choose an area of life. I think most people come to me for money.
I was just going to say,
Let's talk about money.
the way people talk about money to me is
Wild.
wild.
Yeah.
I don't even want to like say the word that I want to say because I feel like that's limiting
because
to me. I
like,
want to say like there's a way to think about money in a really abundant way.
Mhm.
Well,
So
it's
how
fair
can
for
we
you-
switch that belief if someone's
a
listening?
lot of people have so much fear around it because you're talking about survival. Like it is a modern day survival mechanism,
Mhm.
right? Like if you don't make a living, a lot of people assume this, if you don't make a living, you have a hard time making your way through the world because it's how we transact, it's how we eat, it's how we provide for it's all these things.
But
how we put
even
a
that
roof.
sentence that you just said is low vibration.
No, I'm just saying that's why people have fear around money.
Okay, so let's loop back to the self-aware conversation. So there's a law called the cause and effect. You are the cause of the effect. And I think once you start to realize that and empower yourself, like my financial reality was my effect. Like I was causing that effect. Okay, when I was $30,000, I created that. No one came in and gave me that debt. Like I created that, which also means that I have the power to change it.
Well, they see a lot of people have struggle with this line of, and by the way, I 100% agree with you,
Mhm.
but a lot of people struggle with this because we live in a culture now where there's, in many cases, a lack of accountability and there's a lot of blaming. And there's, well, these are my circumstances, or this is how I grew up, or this is what someone did to me, or society puts this pressure on me. And I agree with you. I think if you don't have that accountability from the first place, it's very hard to do what I think you're about to talk about, which is then make the change.
So what you're saying is the first step is self-awareness and self-accountability.
Yeah. I always say this. The first step is taking 100% accountability for your reality.
I mean, put that on a t-shirt. I totally agree with you.
And I get it. Like it was so much easier for me to be like, it's my parents' fault. It's the way I was raised, and wanting to blame everyone else because that is the easier option. Like that's the way
But it's
to get out of it. That's comfortable.
also delusional.
But I always go back to like, how bad do you want it? Like, how bad do you want to change? How bad? Okay, in the beginning it was silly, but my why was literally I did not want to experience winter ever. Like I didn't.
But that's a
it
why.
Was, like that was
but you know
so
what?
much
Somebody
pain
who's
for me.
experienced the winters you guys get up there, like if you've
It's wild.
experienced, like we don't have them, but I've heard stories of what those winters look like, and like we freak out over here if it gets into the 30s.
weather's
If I go to
stuff.
London, I'm like, and I love London, but by a week, I'm like, oh my God, because it's dark at 3. I mean, it's
depressing. It's so depressing.
Hard.
Yeah.
But maybe I need to change my reality and go to London and be like, you know what? I love London.
Yeah, but London doesn't get that kind of winter. What
London's
you're
amazing.
talking about.
But also, like, you're also allowed to not like things. Like, if you don't like the cold, you don't like the cold. You don't have to suffer. And that's the thing. It's like, I think it's like, so people move away from pain and they move towards pleasure, right? So if their reality isn't painful enough, they're not going to change, actually, because that's just like what they're used to. But this is actually, so your beliefs were created between the ages of 0 and 7. That's when your subconscious mind was open and you took in everything as, this young baby, and this became your truth. And this became your comfort zone. So this became your financial thermostat, not just financial thermostat, but every thermostat. So like relationship thermostat, body thermostat, like what you learned and what was normal and consistent became your comfort zone.
That's interesting that I didn't know that all your beliefs come from 0 to 7.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So if someone's listening, what are the steps that you would take to change their belief? The first one you mentioned was being self-aware.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Okay, so we're talking about money. Okay, but this can go for any area of life. If you want to manifest relationship, whatever, it covers everything. So if you are wanting to attract more money, I want you to take a piece of paper. I want you to light a candle. I want you to close the door, and I want you to put your phone on silent and set a 10-minute timer. And I want you to write down, what are all my beliefs about money? And you're going to have a moment where you write something comes to you, like, oh, I don't want to write that down. Okay, but you believe it, so you just need to get everything out. Okay, not writing it down isn't going to make it less believable. Like, you still believe it. So we need to get everything out on a piece of paper. And that you can look at, and you can do a direct equation of like, this is creating your reality. Like, you can mirror it thinking
So it's like an audit.
Yeah, an audit.
So give me an example of like what people like you've seen, what they write down and like how that audit works.
Okay, so I would say the biggest limiting belief that I see in my practice is, wait, guess what it is?
What?
To guess. What do you think is the biggest?
Around money?
But like universally, what do you think everyone's biggest limiting belief is about themselves?
I can't lose weight.
Translates to everything.
I can't.
They don't have enough confidence.
On that tone, it's that they believe that they're not enough. That's the biggest thing that I clear amongst all of everyone that comes to me. And
that's why Louise Hay says in all her meditations to say over and over and over every day, all day long, I approve of myself.
Yes.
That's interesting that you say that. She never says I am not enough. She says, like, to combat that, I would think she says to say over and over all day long, I approve of myself. I approve of myself. That's in every one of her meditations.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's exactly why. So because beliefs don't have like this thing where they're like, okay, I'm only going to show up in relationships and then not money. Like, it just over all areas of life. So then if you don't believe that you're enough, then there's also never enough money. Then also your partner never does enough for you. Like, and then also your body is never going to look good enough. Like, it mirrors in every area of life.
A lot of that comes from comparing yourself to other people's journey or other people, I think. That's where I think because how would you know what enough is without comparing yourself?
I think it's that for sure. And a lot of people, like, society does a good job of trying to humble people consistently.
Exactly.
And people get shamed for bragging about themselves, being overconfident, being their biggest cheerleader. Like, people want you to humble yourself in front of them, right?
I get shit whenever I say, I think I'm great. I think I'm amazing. But if I don't think that, then how can I expect anyone else to think that?
Because again, like, even when you're saying that out loud, there's certain people that will be, it rubs.
I think everyone should think they're great and everyone should think they're amazing.
That is my thing is, like, if everyone in this world could just believe that they are more than enough just as they are, the world would be a completely different place.
I agree with you.
And also, okay, so we are raised in schooling and think about how we're taught in school. When you get your grade back, is it like green check? It's like red, red, red. When you're speaking in front, you're constantly getting audited on how good you are. We are constantly getting audited on how we're not enough. We are programmed to believe our whole lives that we are not enough. Every time. Even in the class, it's like, okay, who's going to play gym? Who's picking for gym? It's like, oh, the person get picked last. That's not enough. It's like, it's not our fault. It's not like, it's just the fact that we are constantly being compared to others, compared to the media, compared to this perfect, photoshopped person. And if you don't look like this, you're not enough. Like, that society makes us think that we're not enough. I feel like
you have to brainwash yourself.
You do.
You have to literally, what's that thing?
You have to reprogram.
What's the waterboard yourself? Was that what the right word? Like, no. You have to is that the
waterboarding is a debated form of torture that they use.
You have to
Delulu.
You have to be delusional and you have to think you're fucking amazing.
Wait, you are using waterboarding in the completely wrong context.
You know who I feel like is really a good example of someone who just thinks they're amazing and it radiates out of her? Kris Jenner. Like
Mhm.
you can tell that even before Keeping Up with the Kardashians, like she and Kim too, they thought their thoughts, you can tell, were like the sky is the limit. You can feel that energy
That's their
from someone.
beliefs.
Yeah.
So that's their belief. So that's their reality. The belief is the cause and the reality is the effect. Always. Okay, so sorry, I'm going on tangents, but I'm like getting so excited about this.
We love a tangent.
Okay.
So if you say something like money is evil or I don't need money to be happy, what you're doing is you're creating the cause is now the effect is basically you will push that away from you because you have created that narrative.
Or people that like there's an undertone sometimes I notice of people that sort of shame other people for caring about money. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like being like, I don't need this. I need this. And like almost like shaming people who enjoy making money.
T. Harv Eckert says, yeah, well, show me their bank account.
Right. It's almost like you have to, if you want to make money, you can't shame the thing that you want. Does that make sense?
No, exactly. Like most people that I speak to, there's a very rare, like they will be very aware of the fact they want a lot of money. Like maybe because I live in South Africa, it's like different. But I think most people, most of the time, whether or not they want to admit it or not, know that they want money. They just feel really frustrated because they don't know how to make more.
Well,
but that's an affirmation, what you just said. Saying I don't know how to make more money is an affirmation that's a belief in your head. What I think that is important about affirmations that people have to understand is there are negative affirmations too. So saying I don't know how to make I want more money, but I don't know how to make it, that's going on in the tape and the cassette in your head.
Exactly. So, okay, wait, perfect analogy. Okay, so if we think about your reality as like a movie projector, okay, there's a film and the tape and the cassette is projecting the movie.
Exactly.
So the film
Agreed.
is your beliefs and whatever you believe will be projected. So if we think about, okay, we want to change the movie, we're not going to the screen like cutting out and like adding stuff to the screen. We're going to the tape and we're removing the old tape and we're adding a new tape to create a new reality. And
that comes up in your energy too.
Everything. So in my practice, the most effective way to making more money, to creating this reality that you want has come from changing your beliefs. And I've seen it, like, I have so many stories I could tell you guys.
You have like amazing stories that have happened.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the first step is you have to take accountability and then you have to take inventory of what's going on in your life. And then you have to change, like if you want something to change, you have to change your beliefs around the things that are not going well in your life.
I will give an example in my own life of how a limiting belief really affected me.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this before. So if you've heard it, sorry. After my first baby, gained so much weight in pregnancy. And the tape in my head was, I can't lose weight. This is so hard. This is so overwhelming. I feel so fat. That was the tape that was playing in my head. And the second that I changed that tape, the weight fell off me.
Of
What
course.
did you change it to?
I changed it to I'm losing weight. Weight is falling off me. And Louise Hay taught me how to do this. This isn't like something that I innately knew. I'm losing weight. Weight is falling off me. I would imagine myself in the outfit that I would want to wear. I had the outfit hanging in my closet. I would look at it every day. And so I sort of like manipulated my reality like clay to what I wanted it to be. And this pregnancy, my third one, the tape in my head right now is I'm losing weight. I've gained 30 pounds, so I'm acknowledging what it is, but I'm losing weight. And I think that you do, the first step, you're right, is not, it needs to be a self-awareness that you're even having the thoughts or beliefs.
You also have to want it. Like, I'm not here to convince anyone what they want and don't want. Like, if you come to me and you're like, Marley, I really want to earn more money. I want to manifest my dream relationship. I want to manifest my dream body. I'm like, okay, I got you. I have the tools to get you there. But you have to want it. I think that's also the first step. Like, first step, aware that you create your reality and you are fully, the ownership is on you to do this. And then you have to want it. And then once, like, okay, I'm sure that once you start changing the tape, you maybe met out of nowhere this trainer that was going to help you, or like found these tools that were supported in that.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly. But so there's a part of your brain called the reticular activating cortex. It filters out based on your beliefs. So it filters every reality. So like if you're in a room and everyone's talking and everyone yells, Michael, you'll turn, but no one else is going to turn because that word isn't important to them, right? So that's your RAC. So if you're having that tape over and over in your mind, like, okay, I am so fat or whatever, the trainer and the whatever is not going to come to you because it's not in alignment with your beliefs. So it's unimportant. Another way is, when you're looking at a car and like you just start to see that car everywhere and you're like, oh my gosh, like everyone has this car now. That car was always there. It was never important. So what happens is when you start to change your beliefs, for example, you change it. Like I also was just getting by like paycheck to paycheck. And then when I started to change my beliefs and change my beliefs about money, I started to see opportunities where I only saw ways that I couldn't make money. I started to see ways that I could make money. So when you change your belief, your actual brain filters out what's important, which is incongruent with what you actually believe. So then you start moving towards things that you believe are true. To your point.
No, so there's a science behind it. It's not just like woo-woo manifestation.
There's a science
it's the way your brain works.
It's the way your brain works.
It's like opens your channels. I also think when you become obsessed with something, I'll give you an example. If all you're obsessed with is how do I make more money, that's almost out of alignment and unbalanced, and that can end up hurting you. So if you become obsessed, I'll give you another example. If you become obsessed with finding someone, you're not letting it in and letting it get into alignment. So I think the affirmation part's important too. You don't want to become obsessed with money. To me, it's like money is a tool to get me to where I want to go, which is what's the bigger goal of that, bigger than the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I love this point. So whenever I have a client who's like, okay, I really need a relationship. Okay, well, why? And it's with everything in life, because
it's like desperate.
Yeah, it's desperate energy, and that repels, as we all know. But you're not actually after. This is actually the interesting thing. People aren't actually after the money. It's the way the money is going to make them feel. The way the relationship is going to make them feel.
And that's almost like, how do you rework that?
Exactly. So I would ask you, like, why do you want a relationship so badly? I want to feel loved. I want to feel supported. I want to feel seen. I would say, okay, that's great. Do that now. Like, love yourself now. Make yourself feel supported. And because you will always attract what you are. You attract what you are. We're energetic beings. You attract, like law of attraction, like attracts like. So if you want to attract a thing, you can't attract anything out of lack. You can't attract abundance out of scarcity. It doesn't work. If you're in scarcity 24/7 and you're trying to attract more money, that doesn't work.
I think the reason we got back together is because you changed your energy.
No, but
I always had good energy. You were just like, you were close. You were confused.
I know, but there was a little desperado in high school, and you changed the desperado. Talk about this experience.
I don't think I was desperado at all.
There was a little like waiting up for me until 5:30 in the morning when I was asleep at 1 energy.
Right. I had other girlfriends and other things going on.
Okay, but then when you got out of that desperado, I was I kind of leaned into it.
Side note, you know how we were talking in the car the other day about how you like
self-awareness,
create these false narratives? This is a false narrative.
It's my inner monologue. Welcome to it.
I remember basically going to you, and this is a true story, tell me if it's not, and saying, this is the last fucking time you have a chance with me. Are you taking it or not?
And there was no desperate energy.
So, okay.
True story.
Carson.
True story.
This is, okay. We got to work on your narratives because
but I'm like trying to think about that. I'm like, so you took back your power basically, and she felt that.
Yep.
And then, but that's with everything.
Narrative confirmed.
Also with money, that's with the relationship. If you want something so badly, you can't attract it from chasing it. You have to become it and embody it.
What I will say, and this doesn't just apply to me or to you or to our producer Carson. Like, everybody knows the people in their lives that are constantly complaining about what they don't have or how hard it is or how bad the relationship is. And we all are sitting here either listening or thinking and we're of these friends, and the pattern is a recognizable pattern. It's the same narratives on repeat, right? It's the scarcity narrative. I can't do this. I'm not enough. Nobody wants that. Like it's that over and over and over again. And it's heartbreaking when you're close with someone to watch it, but like, it's exactly what you're talking about. It's the scarcity is not going to bring abundance. And the unfortunate thing is like I feel like you have to be ready for this conversation in order to hear it. You have to want it, to your point. Because a lot of people, it's like on repeat until they, I think, get to a point or have a life event where they say like, enough is enough, I'm changing.
Yeah, like, so I had a client and she kept attracting partners that would not respect her boundaries. Over and over, it was this theme. And we think, okay, well, I'm just going to break up with this guy and then the new guy's going to respect my boundaries. And it's the same thing over and over and over and over. So the reason why that happens is because you are attracting that because you don't respect your own boundaries. So when I met her, and she actually came to me for money, she wanted to make more money, but her real thing was like, I really just want a relationship. And I was like, okay, well, let's see what's been going on. And what the thing that she complained about most is that men never respected her boundaries. So I just simply asked her, like, where do you not respect your own boundaries? So we had a list. She just made pivots and adjustments with all those things.
What was the list?
And is it hard for her to hear that message or to go through that with you?
Well, to your point, like, she was ready. Like, she was seeking help.
She was seeking
help. So she was like, I'll do anything.
Right.
Things like she was working till 4 a.m. She was going to the gym for 4 hours a day. Like, she was disrespecting her boundaries, her body. People would do things and she would just allow it. Like, they would say mean things, and instead of standing up for herself or setting a boundary, she would just allow it. So there's a very large lack of boundaries.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Really
so she started
interesting.
setting those boundaries, and we cleared her limiting belief that she is disrespected, this fear of being disrespected. And and then I have this tool called neural linking. It's how to create a new belief. It's creating a new neural pathway in your brain. And her new neural link is that I'm so respected and that I'm loved for who I am. 2 weeks later, I get a message from her, and she met this guy, and he literally has been so nice to her. And he's messaged her saying, I just want to let you know that I respect you and I respect your boundaries. And then 4 days later, it was like, and I just love you for who you are. And I was like, what? Like, you can't even make this up. Like, once she changed her energy, it was like physically represented through text messages. And again, it's not a coincidence. It's just, you will always attract what you believe. So if you believe in scarcity, you will attract scarcity. If you believe that you're respected and you start to respect yourself, you will attract that.
It's exactly what, I mean, it's like that thing. It's like wherever you go, there you are. And it's what we were talking about earlier with self-awareness. It's like a lot of people just like really struggle to see themselves from a realistic perspective, right? Like, we see ourselves in the way we see, but it's hard to step back and truly be self-aware and be like, this is not only how I see me, but how the world sees me. Right. And until you can do that, I think it's really hard to get to the points you're talking about.
I also think what you said, if whatever you want to attract, you have to be first.
Always.
And they teach you this in AA, I think. It's like, whatever, if you want someone who's hardworking, if you want someone who's disciplined, if you want someone who's funny, I have this friend, and I swear to God, he was sitting around making fun of the girls that he was attracting and their teeth. He's like, what is going on with these girls' teeth? They're yellow. They look like a snaggletooth. One is brown. Like, I heard him making fun of these girls' teeth, and I looked at him and I'm like, bro, your teeth like literal look like I don't even like
he works at the carnival.
It's like, you can't expect someone to have perfectly beautiful teeth when you don't have the teeth yourself. And that's a physical example, but it goes for like energy too. Like, you cannot. My favorite is when someone who is so goddamn unfunny and not witty is like, I want someone who's funny and entertaining. It's like, you sit there like the fucking WB frog. You're not going to find someone that's fucking tap dancing with pizzazz when you're as boring as it doesn't make any sense. If you want someone who's funny and witty, then you have to be funny and witty.
But your friend sadly was projecting his teeth insecurities onto these women.
And it's not fair. It's
and
like,
he needs to heal his own
I gave him my
insecurity to attract. Here's a crush strip.
No, because I'm done with these guys like that. I hear our friends complaining. The guys.
Don't blame me. It's our friends at this point.
No, but it's like, it's all of our guy friends, and I'll hear them complaining about girls, and I'm like, are you funny?
Lauren, I've never heard any of your girlfriends complain about guys.
Yeah, well, I would tell them the same thing. Like, are you funny? Like, if you want someone who's funny, And also like my thing too, and I'm going to call this out. If you're a woman and you're listening and you're saying that you want some rich man, go be the rich man. Look at Cher. Go make money and you will attract money. I really believe that.
I mean, listen, here's the thing, and this is the truth for everybody. We are hypercritical of others and not nearly critical enough of ourselves. Like I am a firm believer in shame. I know people think that's crazy. I really am. I think people don't have nearly enough shame. They're not nearly enough ashamed of themselves at moments in time. We are very quick to project onto others why they should be shameful and why they need to change their behaviors and why they need to do better. If I see one of these people tell me to do better one more time on the internet, I'm like, I'm going to go and I'm going to show up at your door and audit your life.
Everyone's going to tell you to do better.
I'm going to go and I'm going to knock on the door with the clipboard and say, I'm here with a team to audit your life to see how you're doing. But it's true. It's like we're so quick to project outward and judge other people. And we're not nearly quick enough to judge ourselves, like the way we're living, the way we're behaving.
But Marley's right. There's a projection.
But you get what I'm saying?
But it's a reflection. You're actually just judging yourself. So sorry to interrupt you, but whenever anyone complains about anything to me, I was like, okay, you're actually just complaining about yourself. So let's put that back on you. So, for example, so I also have friends that want rich men, right? But it's like, okay, but why do you want that rich man? You actually just want safety because you believe that if you have a rich man taking care of you, then you'll feel safe. They're going to get into that relationship and they're never going to feel safe because they're trying to fix an inside problem, which is wanting to feel safe on the outside. And what I'm here to share with people is like, if you actually just believe this on the inside, then you can feel safe and then you can attract any person from a place of love and actual alignment and actual like soulmate connection instead of this needing them to validate this feeling of safety. But like, I'm sure you heard so many stories, like it never works out that way. Like if you're trying to fix an inside problem from the outside, you see this all the time with actually celebrities. They grow up, they don't feel like they're enough. They had some sort of like controlling parent that made them feel lack. So then they're like, okay, I'm going to become famous. And then all these people are going to love me. Then I'm going to feel more than enough. Then they get famous and they realize, oh my gosh, I still don't feel enough. Then they go to drugs and alcohol, hoping to numb the pain and and we all know that. But that's like, it's like, it all stems from this belief of like not feeling. This is like the thing that I feel like if anyone could take this away from this episode is if you are struggling with not feeling more than enough, if you fix that one thing, if you reprogram that one belief, your whole life will change. Then you'll have more than enough. You start to attract more than enough money. You'll start to attract more than enough love. Like you'll just have this feeling of peace inside of you and safety inside of you that no one can take from you.
I think this episode is really important. And a lot of the things you're saying is how I try to live. I'm obviously not perfect at it, but I love all this stuff. It does get called woo-woo all the time, but I don't care. I'm just sharing like what's worked for me. I think what you said earlier about seeing all the people that you're pissed at or you're angry at or you're critical of and looking at them every single night and doing an audit and then see where you do the same thing that's pissing you off. So if you're pissed off, I'll give an example, that someone's playing the victim. See where you're playing the victim. Like flip it on its head. That's been really helpful for me. If I'm critical in my head of someone, I try to see where I show up as something that they're doing. And it sort of gives yourself a self-audit.
I think for anyone listening who's like, ooh, this is woo-woo, I choose science instead. The thing about science, and again, is science, what are we looking for? Something that works 100% of the time? Nothing works. There's nothing in this world that works 100% of the time. And in science, they used to literally shoot babies up with mercury, like, right? Like, so science is getting debunked every single day. And so what I like to look at is, okay, what has credibility? Credibility means it has belief and trust. If you have credibility, you have belief and trust. So what do you believe and trust? And for me, it's what has worked for me. And it's what I've seen work for my clients. And I can't not just see where my clients are changing their beliefs. And let's just look at myself. Let's not even involve my clients. Like there is no reality where someone like me from a small town in Ontario, Canada, with 300 people who grew up not having money, who grew up in a home. I mean, I love my parents were doing their best and I acknowledge them for that. And I love them for that. I chose my parents. It all worked out perfectly. But like, there's no reason that I should have became a millionaire, right? The reason why that happened is because I chose to change my beliefs. I wasn't lucky. I didn't work harder than anyone else. It was like, that was a mere reflection of, I used to believe in scarcity and now I believe in abundance.
What are the tools that you use throughout the day or in the morning or night to help you really be your highest self?
Oh my gosh, I forgot to even mention the tool that I talked about to change your money beliefs. So this is a really good one. So remember how we were making a list of all of our negative...
Oh, you do you burn the list?
No, we're looping
you said
back.
Light a candle.
No, we're lighting a candle just to like set an ambiance.
Okay, got it.
So we're taking that list, and that is a reflection of all of your beliefs about money. And you're going to see, okay, if you fear, the most common money fear is probably that there's not enough, or that
you're going to run out.
Yeah, very scarcity, or that they don't trust money. They don't trust in it to increase. Very common. And inconsistency with money. That's a big one. And so this is just a really simple tool that anyone can do at home for free. So I invite you to do that. And then on another piece of paper, you're going to write down the opposite belief. So how is money so consistent? How am I attracting so much money? How is my money increasing? And you write all the opposite belief and you write that down. And I love actually changing it into something called an affirmation. This like levels up an affirmation, because if you don't believe that you're beautiful and you look in the mirror every day and you say, you're so beautiful, your mind just going to say, no, I'm not. Or if you're like, I'm making so much money, your brain's going to automatically dismiss it and say, no, I'm not. But your brain is actually wired to answer questions. So if you say, how am I so beautiful? Or how am I making so much money? It can't dismiss that because it's a question. And then your reticular activating cortex, what we talked about earlier, is going to start to find the answer to those questions. Tony Robbins says, if you want better answers, ask better questions. So you begin to write down all the opposite beliefs as questions. So how is money so consistent for me? How am I making so much money? Or how am I now making $4,000 a month? And then you're going to notice, again, maybe with Lauren's situation where she changed her beliefs and then this trainer came out of nowhere. It's like, okay, there's like this referral or someone comes up with you a business idea. And usually your brain would say no and dismiss that because you don't make money. But now you start to invite things in and then things start to change. So I would say that's a really easy tool that anyone can do right now at home that will change their life. And you don't have to do this with money. This is literally everything.
No, but like we've done episodes where, you know, when people say I don't have enough money and you say, well, what are some things I could do to make a little bit of extra money? And then you're forced to go through that exercise and you actually like have to go through and talk about the ways, and it gets your brain thinking about the possibilities. So I fully agree with that process.
What is the most amazing success story that you've had?
One of my gorgeous clients came to me. And again, she came to me for money, and she started telling me about relationships. And she was like, I think it's going to be easier for me to manifest $100 million than my relationship, like meeting my soulmate. And I was like, challenge accepted.
Yeah, but that's an affirmation.
Exactly. Oh. But don't worry. I'm like, this is like, that's my job. So whatever she believes coming to me, I'm like, it's fine. Okay. That's old. That's an old story. Yeah. So using my method, the Clear the Fear method, because basically if you want something, let's say you want to feel in abundance with money, you want to have more than enough money, which is you're not in overdraft every month. Let's just say that as bare minimum. The reason why, this is going to shock many people, the reason why you don't yet have that is because you actually are afraid of it.
I agree with you.
So
or like a relationship would be the same thing.
Everything.
Maybe you're used to chaos and you're afraid.
Your comfort zone is chaos.
I actually, just a little tangent. Yeah. To go back to what we were saying, I actually will say that I don't think I was ready for the relationship.
Oh, here
Carson,
we go.
Did you hear this? Earlier the narrative was that I was too desperate.
Well, you were a little desperate. But I also think,
Carson,
I'm going to be self-aware.
Yeah.
I'm going to be self-aware.
I'm going to have the team blend these clips together. So you're going to show the first part of the thing was you saying I'm too desperate, and the next part is you saying you're not ready.
You were
which
desperate, but I also feel like I wasn't ready for a normal, consistent, easy relationship. I wanted to go through the chaos.
Exactly. So Michael
this is
represented
self-aware with the period.
But Michael represented like safety, consistency, and for you that was probably scary.
It was a little boring. At first,
and
I'm
maybe
being
not
honest.
normal, and maybe not
By
normal.
the way, I love it now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
of course. That's
it's
what
like
we all
all
actually
day
want.
long.
We talked about
that's
this
what we all
early when
want.
we were dating. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to be that kind of chaotic running around. Like, no, like I'm not going to invite all that
I'll
shit into
provide
it.
the
Like,
chaos. Okay,
no, but you
just
know what I
sorry.
mean?
Go
Like,
back
and
to
so
what
like
you were
I
saying.
think actually this is like good for I think men and women to hear. I think when you find that person that's like, I'm not willing to get on the chaos train. Like we're not going to have infidelity. We're not going to have blowout fights. We're not going to have the thing where we like scream and yell and fight and don't talk and then make up and have good like we're not doing that. I think a lot of people like they want that. And so it comes off, maybe the person comes off as boring if they're not giving that to them, but
Yeah.
in the long run, like what do you want?
Well, I wouldn't say I don't know if anyone wants chaos. I think they're just used to it. It's just their comfort zone subconsciously.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not
going to say people want chaos, but it's that thing where it's like girls like, oh, I date bad boys, you know, like that whole
Yeah, because
stupid
that
thing.
was what their dad was.
Or it's like what is a bad boy? Does that mean like I'm a womanizer and I treat you like shit and I like don't come home and and I lie to you and I do things? Is that like a bad boy? Like, or is that just like somebody you shouldn't be with, right?
Yeah, I think what I see in my practice is that women attract the relationship that they had with their father because that's what's comfortable, unless they've done the healing work around it. Because that's what I did until I healed that. And then I met someone that was so safe, so grounded, so consistent, family. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I had to actually like have that feel safe for me. Okay, so I actually have two stories that I really want to tell because one's to do with money because I think a lot of people
Did that girl make
appreciate.
$100 million?
Not yet, but we're getting to that. So I was like, okay, what about being in a loving, consistent relationship is scary? That's my question. That's my number one question to everyone that I ever work with. Okay. And what it came down to is that she believes if she's in a relationship, she has to take care of the person. Again, this is not conscious. This is subconscious. It's a subconscious pattern because she was raised to believe she has to fix everything. Like she is responsible for the other person. So subconsciously, she was attracting all these people that were like needing so much from her. And she was just like, ew, this is the biggest ick. And would just like push them away because she's very independent. She's very capable. Like she doesn't need to be taking care of herself and someone else. So using my method, we cleared that fear that she is going to have to take care of someone else and feel responsible for them. And it literally goes to the first moment that you create the belief, we reprogram the story and it creates a new belief in your subconscious mind. And 2 weeks later, she's messaging me I met someone. I was like, oh my gosh, wow, that's amazing. 2 months later, they're literally engaged. And she's like, I met my soulmate. Engaged within 2 months of clearing this belief.
So did you tell her that she owes you $100 million?
Well, now I was like, okay, check. That was easy. Let's go to the $100 million now. Okay, another story. So this I think will be more relatable because we're talking about money as well. So I had a client that was constantly in overdraft. And she came to me and she's just so frustrated because she's constantly in overdraft. Like, and this is very common. People will like make, let's say $500, but then a $500 bill will come up. So it's like, it's constantly this up and down, this feast and famine energy I see a lot. So people have the money, then it goes and have money.
Well, they like taking it to the edge.
Yeah, well, and they're addicted to this just enough. It's these pattern of always just having enough.
That's interesting.
Do you ever get pushback when you say that to people when they're saying like people are addicted to just enough?
No, they're like, you're right.
No, because the people that are coming to you are ready for it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Like, and
that's why she's not going to get pushback because the people that are seeking her out are ready for the conversation, which is great for you. Go ahead.
But that's what I'm ready for. Like, I'm ready for people who want to change. Like, that's what makes me so
if we pulled that clip out
excited.
of context, people would be upset about it. Like, we put it on social. Like, I can see it now. Like, you put what you just said on social and you say, what was it again?
People are addicted to just being enough.
No.
But it's just having enough. But the thing is, I want to say and make this very obvious, it's not their fault. It's not like they're like purposely feeling this way. They got taught this growing up. And it's embedded into their subconscious. As a child, they took it on. And now 35, 45, 55 years later, they're just believing this belief over and over. And it's not like they're choosing it. We can't just say, oh, this is a belief and I just don't want to believe this today. It's a habit. It's an identity. You can't just like wake up and be like, okay, I'm going to change my name from Marley and tomorrow I'm going to be Samantha and just change my whole identity, right? Like we identify with these beliefs. It's our identity. And so it's like not your fault if you believe this. It's something that you have learned. It is a behavior that you've been picked up and have been taught,
but
it's not your fault.
But it is someone's fault if they don't become aware of it and hold themselves accountable.
It's your choice to continue to believe it,
yes,
but it's not your fault that it happened to you.
Right. So it's not their fault. It's not your fault that it happened to you, but it's your due diligence to take accountability and be self-aware to change it.
I think so.
So what happened to the girl in overdraft?
So we were on the call and I asked her, like, what is scary about having more than enough? And she had this fear of guilt, this fear that if she had more than enough, that she was going to lose someone. And that's very common with money. Like, I had to clear that myself. And we can get to that. Maybe that'll be my third story of how I made $100,000 in a week after clearing one belief. But I went to that client and I was like, okay, she had this fear of if she had more than enough, she felt guilty. Like she was going to have this disloyalty from her family. And you have to remember, in the subconscious, nothing is logical. There's no logical sense. It's all illogical because it's basically like a child brain, right?
I understand that. She felt guilt around making a lot of money.
Yeah. So we went using the method, using Clear the Fear. We went back to the exact moment and it went to her like literally on a playground. And she was surrounded with all of her best friends and they were all making fun of kids who had money.
Huh.
And so we rewrote that story. We recreated the new belief. And on the call, she got an email from a new client, which was £3,000 a month, which automatically put her out of overdraft moving forward. Again, it doesn't always happen that instantly, but when you change your belief system, it opens up a new reality, and that just like happened instantaneously, which was so incredible. But I'll finish it off with I've had to heal many limiting beliefs around money, and I still am. Like, at every new level, I'm noticing, okay, there's new, like, healing is like an onion. Like, I'm noticing as I'm increasing and growing that there's always new things to heal.
Well, I was going to ask you a personal question for someone who's come from humble beginnings to now having the success you've had. Like, how much did that actually change your happiness? Like, I'm sure it contributed, but to your point, like, there's a lot of people that get to that next level that aren't happy, right?
That's such a good question. So it was actually very early on that, like, when I hit my first $10,000 a month in business, I was living in Australia. I had an oceanfront apartment. I had everything in my life that I had dreamed of at that moment up until then. Like, I had made it to the point. And I was like, oh, wait, I'm still dealing with anxiety. I'm still dealing with the loss of my father. I'm still not happy every day because I thought that if I had money, that everything would go away. Like, it would solve all of my problems and I would be super happy and everything would be great. And although money does solve money problems, I think after a point of like having needs met and like not having to worry about money, I personally don't believe
it has a diminishing return.
I don't believe that it makes you that much happier, because what I value now is so much is honestly like family, and is feeling safe and having a regulated nervous system, is having like a safe home that's surrounded by trees. Like, that's what makes me happy. And being surrounded by a family who I feel loved by and loves me is like the richest that you can ever be, in my opinion. So I love giving people the tools to make enough money to do whatever they want, travel, But at the end of the day, I think what I'm really here to help people know and inspire people to do is like not to settle, not to like give up on their dreams, and not to think that just because you have this desire, you're not capable of achieving it.
There's that quote by Jim Carrey, of all people, and he was saying, like, I hope everybody gets rich and famous so they can realize that it's not the answer. Like he's like, I hope everybody experiences as most richness, as much fame as they can have, so they realize it's not the answer. And I think, like, to your point, many people that struggle with money think that once they have money, it'll solve all their other problems. It solves the money problems. And I'm not going to, listen, once you have your basic needs and groceries and can take care of your family, like, there is a certain level of satisfaction and stress release and happiness that comes from that. But there's still all the other things that you're going to have to deal with as a human being that money cannot solve.
So I was in a business launch, and it was like day 3 and no one had purchased. And it was just so weird. I was like, what's going on? Like, this is abnormal, you know? And I was like, oh wait, I literally teach this stuff. Let's do what I do best. What I would do to someone else, I do to myself. So I went to the beach and I asked myself, like, what about earning money right now feels scary? And I realized that at this time I was like newly in my relationship. And I realized I had this fear that if I made this money, I was going to push my partner away.
Huh.
And I would never do anything ever to like purposely push him away because I love him so much. And so I went back with my method, and it came to this point as from a young age, when I was young, I made up this belief that money makes people leave, because when my dad went to work, he left. And so when my dad went to go make money, he would leave. And so I made up this limiting belief when I was a young child that when there's money involved, people leave.
Huh.
And so I cleared that limiting belief. And then within 7 days, like everything took off, and I made $100,000 cash in 7 days.
That's interesting that you say that, because when I say to my daughter, I'm like, I'm going to go to work. I love my work. I have to go make money. I don't want her to associate that with me leaving. That's so interesting.
There's
that you
potholes
say
and
that.
minefields.
Jesus
and
fucking
everything
Christ.
you
It's
say.
like fucking whack-a-mole. Anything you say to a child, by the way, you're like, did I say that wrong? You want to make sure you say it right, because you're right. One little thing that you think is like laissez and just casual talk can have an effect for a lifetime.
I hear what you're saying, but you love what you do. Your family is super safe. You have a loving home. Like that feels aligned. Like that feels good.
Well, I will tell a personal story. I was telling my daughter for a while, I'm so sorry, I have to go to work. I really want to be with you, but I do have to go to work. And I talked to Emma Greed, who has 4 kids. And she was like, Lauren, change it to mommy loves what she does. And I'm so excited about work, and it gives me so much purpose. So I'm going to go do what I love. And that's what I do now. And it's a totally different conversation now.
Yeah.
When I leave, she's like, oh, mommy's going to go do what she loves to do. That lights her up.
Because kids get worried about you.
Yeah. Because it's like, because I was saying before, like, oh, I have to go to work. I'm so sorry. So I was almost like giving like a negative energy towards work.
Yeah.
But it's so true. Like the way you say it is so important.
Well, children take everything personally. So like as a young child, if my dad left for work, no one told me like, oh, I'm just going to work. Like I still love you. It would just be like, oh, leaving. And then I was like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. So it created this belief for, up until I started doing this work, is that like, oh, I thought something was wrong with me, because when my parents left or when there was an argument, I didn't think that, oh, they're arguing about something that's not to do with me. And all children do this because they don't have the conscious mind to rationalize. They just take it personally and they think, oh, I've done something wrong. This is to do with me. This is my fault. So I'm going to take this on as a survival mechanism to feel safe. And then we hold that until we change it.
So you cleared that belief about your partner, and you ended up doing $100,000 in a week. Good for you. Marley, great conversation. Love it.
So tell us about the app, because I know you have clients personally. But what can people expect on your app?
So the Higher Self app is for you if you want to reprogram your limiting belief. It's the first subconscious reprogramming app on the market. And it's a daily ritual. So every morning, we need to recalibrate our brain to what we do want, because like we've been talking about all day, if not, we will go back to those automatic habits of not enough, et cetera, et cetera. And so we need to start every single day with reprogramming and recalibrating to what we do want. So I see this app as your daily ritual to creating a life beyond your wildest dreams.
So it's just like a check-in.
Yeah, so we have something called Clear the Fear, which is the method I created to clear limiting beliefs in 22 minutes. So we have like 100 in there. So basically all the most common limiting beliefs that you have are in the app to clear those.
Smart.
And then we also have recalibration. So these are my version of meditations. And these recalibrate you to what you do desire. So if you want abundance, your dream body, if you want to feel peace, if you want to heal your nervous system, any state that you desire to be in is in the app. And we recommend swapping it for your morning meditation to actually, to really just recalibrate you to that reality. And we have 4 custom tracks for a Skinny Confidential collection that we made.
Cute.
Yeah.
You guys can go to the higherself.app/skinny. And that's so nice that you gave them 4 months for free. That's amazing. Everyone should go do that. And if someone wants to come talk to you direct, how can they find you on Instagram?
So I'm everywhere at Marley Rose Harris. And yeah, send me a DM. I love to chat and I'm here to help.
I got so much out of this conversation. I think what you're doing is so important. And it really, you are right. It does start with your beliefs, and that can completely transform your life. It's very awaken the giant within, Louise Hay vibes, all the good vibes.
Lauren, you had a breakthrough. You realized that you were chaotic and that you were just like pushing my consistent.
Yeah, you had a fear.
Non-desperate
After
energy
all
aware.
this, it was just a fear.
I totally had a breakthrough, and I wish my husband could have had the same breakthrough and been self-aware enough to understand that he was desperado. Marley, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.